I'd like some clarity. I asked about this briefly, but it was on Twitter, so transmitting some of this is limited on that platform without being able to speak at length. You posted some stuff about a flash of light awakening, the sudden eradication of conceptual thought. So we made a distinction between small e enlightenment, which is like kensho, moksha, satori, waking up.
Waking up. Waking
Yeah.
up is the way to do it. Another one is truly self-realized. Another one is what does Deepak use?
Oh, I don't know.
It changes every 20 years. So, but yeah, small E enlightenment is kensho, waking up, satori, all that good stuff. Big E enlightenment is the product of it looks like completely like an act of God. Seriously. So that'd be Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and I'm sure there's many others, and a lot of them don't make themselves known. The vast majority don't make themselves known. So when you're at the grocery store or where you're at the Mexican market or whatever, you don't know. You could be standing next to a saint. There, you'll never know because they're not in it for your approval. So there's that.
So my question is, small e enlightenment, for those having undergone it, is like a flash of light. Big E enlightenment seems to be gradual, getting rid of conceptions as you move toward perfection. But in the excerpts you posted, that was also described as a flash of light happening in an instance, for example, at the end of the 10 stages, suddenly.
Really, read my text, please.
Yeah, let me go on Twitter and find it. I could perhaps be misinterpreting, but this is the point that confused me.
Just check. While you're looking, let me just say that for some folks that don't want to read in the beginning or whatever, you can honor that if they can get far enough along to where they can start mala practice, mantra practice, and mandala practice. Those three, if they did enough of them, that would probably work. Or at least to get them quite a ways along. The Nundra's got to be somebody that's fairly smart and really dedicated and dedicated to the right thing. So that's rare to see that outside of Tibet and Tibetan centers. We're going to chunk these out into little pieces, right? So how many questions do you think we've got so far? Maybe 3 good ones, you think?
Oh, more than that. I've asked.
Okay. Good. So we'll just top them up. We'll put little short clips on X and YouTube. People really, yeah. People think that it's okay not to have an attention span. And then and it's just the most bizarre thing. It's like hippies, that I'm totally stoned all the time. And anyway, so basically they say, I don't have an attention span. I don't have one anymore. And you go, well, did you ever have one? No, but I never developed one. It's always been a problem. I've got ADHD, so I can't read any books. And I don't read anything more than 2 paragraphs because I just don't, because I'm not a normie like you. I'm a autist. I'm autistic. And so, you got to change your learning system to meet me. Okay, that's fair. That's good enough. Yeah, excellent. Well, you can listen or whatever. But that's not it. What it is that they don't have energy or discipline, and they're lazy or they're not motivated enough, and that's a real tragedy when it comes to this.
I have the excerpt. Okay. The excerpt. This mind is no mind of conceptual thought, and it is completely detached from form. That's big M mind. So, Buddhas and sentient beings do not differ at all. If you can only rid yourselves of conceptual thought, you will have accomplished everything. But if you students of the way, capital W, do not rid yourselves of conceptual thought in a flash, even though you strive for eon after eon, you will never accomplish it. Enmeshed in the meritorious practices of the 3 vehicles, you will be unable to attain enlightenment, capital E. Nevertheless, the realization of the one mind may come after a shorter or longer period. There are those who, upon hearing this teaching, rid themselves of conceptual thought in a flash. There are others who do this after following through the 10 beliefs, the 10 stages, the 10 activities, and the 10 bestowals of merit. Yet others accomplish it after passing through the 10 stages of a bodhisattva's progress.
That's wonderful. These guys are so clear, man. I'm really jealous. Okay, so what he's saying is true, and the problem is this: is that I think the word that you may be bridling about is everything, and you got to understand when you reach the other side. I mean, everything means everything. You're on the other side. Now, this world may appear to still be here, but who cares? You're not of this world. You are of the cosmos, at least, right? And so when you enter that stage, or that state, actually, it's more like a state, especially suddenly, yeah, that's it. Your life is changed forever. And so that can occur suddenly. It can occur along the 10 stages. It can occur even if you haven't heard of the 10 stages. He's a Buddhist, and he's a Zenist, and he's talking to a particular audience of serious people, right? At least some of them were serious. They showed up for Zen, right? And it was arduous back in the 17th century. But it was more popular, and it was more accepted and acknowledged that the world needs some of us to explore consciousness the way we explore the bottom of the ocean or outer space, right? So I gotta just say, it's impossible to describe the other side except to say that everything's there, nothing's missing, but nothing's there, especially thoughts and concepts. And if you start indulging in thoughts or concepts in particular in that state, it's going to collapse. Because you're blocking it. You're blocking the sun. You're blocking the light of consciousness with your thoughts and concepts. So that part is true, even though it kind of doesn't make sense. The second part, yeah, in the old days, things were better, right? Any Buddhist would be familiar with the 10 stages. They'd be familiar with these stages of human development. And so the way people in Tibet are familiar with it, the people in China, in Japan, and Korea are familiar with it, and in Afghanistan they were familiar with it, in the Middle East they're familiar with it. And when we come up with these shallow little puny theories that are about this deep, and we create these spectrums of human development. And I'm not trying to fault anybody. For example, Hawkins, I think his work is invaluable along these lines, but it's really silly, right? Because nothing's like that in this world. This world is different than that. And so there's nothing more to be said about that until you were talking about the other side, or from the other side, where things are different because there's only one thing. And knowledge is not a problem. Power is not a problem. Understanding is no, there's no problem. It's keep going. That's what I got to say. Okay. Whatever urgency or fervor or passion you hear in my voice, it's that, good God, would I love to give this to everybody that I love, that I care about, and then the ones that I don't care about, and my enemies too. Hell, the animals have already got it, or they don't have the same thing, but they have their version of it. They don't get into trouble with the mind and concepts, so they're much more able to accord with the way. We get tangled up in a bunch of theories and laws and words and this and that. Well, on the other side, none of that will make any sense, except in a strange kind of wistful, melancholy way. Yeah, it does make some sense, but it's just so retarded. Who would want to read that stuff? Okay.